Hello and welcome everyone. So today's lecture is about overview of caffeine. See, we are not going to discuss caffeine in detail. Okay, वो act किस तरीके से करता है. Okay, what is the mechanism? I'm just going to give you the overview so that it will be very easy to understand what caffeine actually does. Okay, और थोड़ा सा interesting भी लगेगा. So now, what is caffeine? Okay, so caffeine is not only found in coffee, but caffeine is found in more than 60 plants. Okay, so according to the United States Food and Drug Association, caffeine is also called as a food additive. It is also called as a food additive. Okay, and it is also called as a drug. Okay, it is also called as a drug. Caffeine is specially added in some food also. Okay, in some beverages also. और वो कुछ मेडिसिन दैट इज फार्मास्यूटिकल्स में भी ऐड किया जाता है. ओके, इट इज ऑल्सो एडेड इन द सम फार्मास्यूटिकल्स. You might be knowing pre-workout as well. Pre-workout is not a pharmaceutical, just I'm giving an example. Okay, in pre-workout supplement caffeine is been added specially. Okay, so now what is exactly caffeine? So caffeine is also called as a food additive and a drug. But what does caffeine do? Okay, caffeine करता क्या है? So caffeine is a psychoactive drug. Caffeine is called as a psychoactive drug. Basically, it is also called as a stimulant. Caffeine is also a stimulant. So, what does caffeine stimulate? Caffeine stimulates your central nervous system. It is a central nervous system stimulant. Okay. Suppose if you are feeling lazy, okay, if you are feeling sleepy, so you take a cup of coffee, right? आप लोग एक कप ऑफ कॉफी लेते हो जिसके वजह से क्या होता है, यू गेट अवेक. ओके, यू आर नॉट फीलिंग लेजी, यू डोंट फील लेजी एनी मोर. ओके, सो कैफीन क्या करेगा? कैफीन इज ऑल्सो कॉल्ड एज अ स्टिमुलेंट. ओके, और इट इज अ साइकोएक्टिव ड्रग. स्पेशली कैफीन इज बीन यूज्ड बाय मेनी ऑफ देम. ओके, इन एज अ प्री वर्कआउट. ओके, कैफीन को बहुत सारे लोग प्री वर्कआउट के लिए भी यूज करते हैं. So now, what is the everyday intake? Okay, what is minimum, or what is, you can say, what is the limit of caffeine? Okay, everyday intake of caffeine. So one can take around 400 milligrams of caffeine. Okay, on everyday basis. Okay, a person can take around 400 milligram of caffeine on everyday basis. Suppose, can you go more? Okay, see, this is the, this is some kind of, you can say, this is an exact limit कि आप लोग इतना ले सकते हो. You can take this much amount of caffeine on everyday basis. If you are going more, okay, you cannot say side effects. Directly side effects पे हम लोग नहीं आते, but yes, you may experience some or the other adverse effect, that is high blood pressures. Okay, your heartbeats are very faster. Okay, these kind of things you might experience. तो इसीलिए एक 400 mg of caffeine is a limit on everyday basis. So now, caffeine has a half life. caffeine के पास एक half life है. What is the half life of caffeine? So the half life of caffeine is around 4 to 5 hours. So suppose, for an example, suppose you are you are consuming 40 mg of caffeine, okay, in the morning. Okay, so now after the consumption, after 4 to 5 hours, it will become 20 mg in your bloodstream. Okay, after the consumption, it will become 20 mg inside your bloodstream. Okay, so the half life of caffeine is around 4 to 5 hours. So let's say if you are having 40 mg of caffeine, so it will become 20 mg, okay, after 4 to 5 hours. Now understand, आफ्टर व्हेन यू कंज्यूम द कैफीन, ओके, अगर आप लोग ने कॉफी को कंज्यूम किया और उसमें से आपको कैफीन मिलेगा, सो हाउ डज इट गेट्स एब्जॉर्ब्ड? ओके, सो एब्जॉर्प्शन डिपेंड्स अपॉन यू आर टेकिंग कैफीन इन व्हाट. सपोज यू आर हैविंग ब्लैक कॉफी. अगर आप लोग ब्लैक कॉफी पी रहे हो, so the absorption is faster, okay, because it is completely water. And suppose if you are having milk, okay, so the absorption is basically the absorption is slower than the black coffee. But usually if you are having black coffee, it gets absorbed within 15 to 30 minutes, okay, after the consumption, and it enters into your bloodstream. So caffeine is metabolized by the liver. कैफीन को मेटाबोलाइज कौन करता है? कैफीन को मेटाबोलाइज लीवर करेगा. And after certain when the liver metabolizes caffeine, it actually converts caffeine into the three parts, okay. So I am not going into all those kind of details. So understood? So we have covered like what is caffeine, okay, how much caffeine you have to intake on everyday basis, okay, what is the limit, okay, what is the half life of caffeine, okay. So I hope you have understood it. Now what does caffeine exactly do? Okay, caffeine करेगा क्या? So let us take an example. This is your central nervous system, that is your brain, ठीक है. So आप लोग जब भी कैफीन इंटेक करोगे and it will get absorbed into your bloodstream. So caffeine will go and stimulate the brain. Okay, caffeine will go and stimulate the brain. There is one hormone which is called as adenosine. There is one hormone, okay, जिसको बोला जाता है adenosine. Now what does adenosine do? Adenosine makes you calm. For example, let's say you are moving towards the evening, okay, evening का 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock. So the amount of adenosine hormone gets built up inside your bloodstream. So adenosine बढ़ते जाएगा, okay, the level of the adenosine will increase. Adenosine will make the brain calm, okay, it will make the brain calmer. Next, it will slow the activity of neurons, okay, it will slow the activity of neurons. Because of that, you will feel sleepy, you will feel bit lazier, okay, and you will go for a sleep, right? So now what does caffeine will do? Caffeine will block your adenosine. Caffeine क्या करेगा? Adenosine को block करेगा. Now once the adenosine is blocked, the activity of neuron get faster. So this is the stimulation. So once the activity of neuron get faster, your brain is stimulated, okay, and you get awake. Basically you don't feel lazy anymore, you are awake, okay, you are very much alert, the brain gets alert. So in this response, okay, basically मैंने जो भी अभी कहा, in this response your body starts secreting a hormone called as adrenaline, okay, and once the adrenaline is shooted inside the body, understand, your heartbeat will raise, okay, your blood pressure will raise, you will get more alert. This is what caffeine does inside our body. Clear? Now understand, sometimes what people usually do, लोग usually करते क्या है, people start taking around 40 mg of caffeine, okay, they don't get the result, or they, you know, they get a good result, okay, they get a good stimulation, then they start increasing the dosage, okay, then they again increase the dosage. Now understand, at a certain point your body will stop responding caffeine, okay, and you will not feel any kind of stimulation. So what people are going to do in that case? People are going to increase the dose more. So there are chances that you may exceed 400 mg of caffeine. So in that case, what you have to do? Just lower down the dosages of caffeine. And do not take caffeine excessively at once. Let's say you are taking caffeine around 200 mg to 300 mg at once. Don't do that. That is excess amount of stimulation. Understand this thing. And do not overdose the caffeine. Understand, there will be anxiety, okay, your meal will get suppressed, you will not feel hungry anymore. Okay, so now understand, suppose you are having caffeine and once you start let's say ki you exceeded the doses of 400 mg of caffeine and still you are not getting any kind of stimulation, आपको stimulation मिल ही नहीं रहा है. So what you have to do? Just lower down the dosage for some days. let's say for 5 to 7 days, just lower down the dosages and then again pyramid the dosages. Okay, so there what your body will do, basically when you get excess amount of dose at once, body will stop responding. Just slightly lower down the dosages. Okay, this is how you can actually tackle the caffeine. Okay, now the question is, who should not take caffeine? Caffeine should not be consumed by pregnant women and the people who are having high blood pressures especially. ऐसे लोगों को कैफीन नहीं खाना चाहिए. Secondly, you should not be habitual to caffeine. Understand, there are many people who are taking pre-workout as a caffeine, okay, who are taking caffeine as a pre-workout, and they have made an habit, okay, that has become a habitual thing for them. You should not do that. There should be no habits, okay, which will influence the workout. ऐसी कोई भी habit नहीं चाहिए जिसके वजह से आपका वर्कआउट नहीं होगा या फिर वो किए बगैर आपका वर्कआउट नहीं हो सकता है. क्लियर है? कैफीन कैन बी कंज्यूम्ड ऑन एवरीडे बेसिस, जस्ट simply should not be consumed for any kind of stimulation. Just morning a cup of coffee, okay, and wherever in the midday you want to add caffeine as a, you know, wherever in the midday you want to add caffeine. But let us say somebody wants to try caffeine as a pre-workout. Just take caffeine half an hour before your workout session. Okay, so this was the overview about caffeine. I hope you understood the lecture. Please share with your friends and the personal trainers, okay, who are your fellow personal trainers, and please subscribe to ISSN YouTube channel. Thank you.